Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to my cozy corner of the internet. This is Nephilim VA bringing you the 10th chapter of You Either Die a Villain or See Yourself Become a Hero, written by FantasyFreak_2 on AO3. Villain AUs are my beloved, so we must heed the trigger warnings before we proceed. This fanfiction is for mature audiences with canon-typical violence and a trigger warning for abuse, suicide, murder, bullying, and discrimination. If that isn't your style, then I recommend Shades of Green, which is written by Mobius Friendly on AO3. It can be found on my channel! Canon Divergence is the name of the game, with this tale of Class 1A being a class specifically for rehabilitating villains in the making. With that being said, the chapter summary is as followed. The hero costumes of 1A, made by their own designs, get delivered, but there are some problems about it. Plus, All Might does his best, but doesn't know how to deal with quirkless people without being an asshole. Now I implore you to sit back and relax whilst I read to you. Chapter 10. Hero Costumes. Izuku had been excited all day for their next heroics lesson by All Might. He couldn't believe his luck to have his favourite teacher teach his favourite subject. And he got even more excited as they came to their classroom and saw that All Might was already there and had put metal suitcases which were marked with a number on every table. In front of their suitcases lay the description which they made for their hero costumes yesterday. Our hero costumes are already made? Mina screeched. All Might smiled at her. The factory which makes them for UA worked day and night to make them for you in time for this lesson. That was very kind of them, Yaoyorozu said. It must have taken several teams per costume to get everything ready in time. I can't wait to wear mine for the first time, Zero shouted. Everyone rushed to their tables. Izuku saw that someone commented on his description of the costume and excitedly started reading it since he thought it was some helpful commentary on changes they were made to make it better. Instead it read, "That must be a joke. Why would I make this sort of effort for a quirkless nobody in the A class? You'll be gone in a day, stop wasting my time." The all-too-familiar rage built up inside him, and Izuku started planning how he could make it to whichever company made hero costumes for UA and burn it to the ground. Or maybe he should vary it up a bit and blow it up instead. It shouldn't be too hard to find explosives in a hero costume factory. Why did he even think that, of all things, would get better for him after coming to UA? People would always discriminate against him for being quirkless. What the fuck? The explosion next to him startled him out of his thoughts. Kachan had exploded the paper in his hand, probably commentary on his hero costume. The explosion threw the paper up and Kirishima managed to catch it. He smoothed the paper to decipher the scorched writing. As if anyone would give you a way to save your own nitroglycerin to attack and kill people with it, you psychopath. You really belong in the villains class. Give that back! Kachan snatched the paper back and ripped it into pieces. Shinso rolled his eyes. Oh, calm down, as if you're the only one. He held up his own paper and quoted in a mocking tone, I'm not giving you more possibilities to use your villainous brainwashing on innocents. Ida looked close to tears. They told me I brought shame to the Ida family name and don't deserve a costume that imitates our traditional family costume. Yaoyorozu sighed. Apparently, all I'm good for is showing my tits. Hagakure laughed a bit forced. Oh, I got that one too, that they were lamenting on how you can't see mine. Oh, thank God. Izuku laughed happily. Everyone was staring at him in confusion. Karchan raised his eyebrows. Now he's gone completely insane. Izuku rolled his eyes. Of course not, Karchan, but the entire time I thought it was a me problem, that they would write this nonsense just because I'm quirkless. But it's an us problem. We knew we would get hassled just because we are 1A, and we always managed to get through any problem that was put in our path until now. We'll manage this too. Ida nodded. Midoriya is right. Wallowing in self-pity won't help anyone. All Might, meanwhile, had gotten pale. I had no idea that they would write such horrible things. I can't apologize enough. I will immediately bring those costumes back and demand they actually do their work. All Might, Izuku responded. He had some problems with talking to his idol without stuttering. Small adjustments can be made by the support department, right? Well, yes. And our costumes are mostly done, aren't they? Correct. There is this mechanic we know. Could we go to her? You want me to use my babies on you? Hatsume was holding on to Izuku's shoulders while jumping up and down excitedly. That sounds so wrong, he heard Sato mumble. 1A together with All Might were standing in the workplace of the support department. Everyone stared at them, especially at All Might and the screeching Hatsume. Power Loader had come over and started talking to All Might, but Izuku couldn't hear what they were saying over Hatsume's excited chatter over which support item she could use on each one of them. Finally, Power Loader came over and put a hand on Hatsume's shoulder to silence her. Then he addressed the class. All Might told me what happened. I apologize for the unprofessionalism of our supplier. I fear the company has recently been taken over by a bigger one, and apparently they changed many of their workers. We never had such problems beforehand, and I'll make sure we won't have them from now on. For now, you can leave your costumes and the descriptions you made for them here, and the support class will work as fast as we can to give you what you need. Hatsume next to him began bouncing up and down in excitement. Can I work on him? Can I? Yes, Hatsume, Power Loader groaned. Now calm down. Hatsume squealed and hugged Izuku. Thank you for giving me such a great opportunity. Izuku froze, feeling the strange girl so close to him, and stuttered, It was the best way to get our costumes as fast as possible. I can't wait to give you my babies. This has decidedly become too weird for me, Uraraka said. Can we please go now? All Might nodded. Yes, we don't want to keep you from your class, Meijima. By the way, Uraraka, please put that back. Uraraka sulked as she put the small bomb back on the table she found it on. Ida raised his hand. Sensei, since we don't have our costumes, are we still going to the training ground? Good question, All Might stuttered. I mean, maybe. How about we learn how to save people if we meet a villain while we are out in our civilian clothes? Izuku suggested. Yes! All Might agreed, sounding relieved someone made a suggestion. Yes, that is a good idea. They went to Training Ground Beta, and All Might tried to improvise some training scenarios with the help of Izuku and Yaoyorozu. Usually one or more of the students played a villain attacking a civilian or breaking into a house, and one or more of the students had to stop him. It was mostly frustrating for Izuku. Without support items or special martial arts training, he lost in nearly all the scenarios since his classmates could still use their quirks. But he did still manage to get some wins by using the right strategy. As long as he didn't answer to Shinso, he managed to subdue him since he was the better hand-to-hand fighter. While most of his classmates had gotten taken in by Shinso's clever questions and provocations, Izuku managed to stay silent. Astonishingly, he also managed to win against Kachan, much to his chagrin, since Kachan had gotten the role of thief. Kachan's problem was that he was supposed to sneak into the house and not blow a hole into the wall, which led to other heroes noticing and capturing him. In his last fight, Izuku managed to bait Uraraka in a room without anything she could make float, and they battled fiercely, half the time floating in the air, but Izuku got the upper hand in the end. All in all, he thought he was doing well enough, but at the last fight that was more or less everyone against everyone, he was pulled to the sidelines by All Might, who mumbled something about Izuku helping him to judge who won, and if someone had to be pulled out of the fight for their own safety. Izuku unhappily followed him to a control room, where they could overlook the battle with cameras, and after the door fell closed, he didn't hesitate to voice his objections. "Did you just only pull me out because I'm quirkless?" All Might froze, and his face showed a mixture of embarrassment and determination. "I just thought it would be safer for you!" Izuku crossed his arms in front of him. "I think I've proven in the fights before that I can take care of myself." "You only won by tricking most of your opponents!" "Which is a valid strategy to win a fight." "But sometimes tricking people isn't an option." "That's why I'm here, am I not? To learn how to be a better fighter." Izuku felt himself getting angry. "If you don't believe I should become a hero just because I'm quirkless, then why didn't you stop them from putting me in 1A? "Because you deserve a second chance!" All Might nearly shouted. Then he seemed to sink into himself. "You deserve a second chance just like any of your classmates. And it would be unfair that you wouldn't get it just because you're quirkless, but at the same time I can't help but wonder if I just condemned you to an early death by putting you in such a dangerous situation without the means to defend yourself. Trust me, you wouldn't be the first young hero I found dead on the scene because I wasn't fast enough." All Might seemed close to tears, and Izuku's anger dissipated. The student sighed. "I understand that heroism is a dangerous job, and there are many that die young, but there isn't a reason that I'd be in more danger than Shinso after someone knows enough about his quirk. Or your old sidekick, Night Eye. His quirk is foresight, isn't it?" There was a strange emotion on All Might's face after Izuku mentioned Night Eye, and he couldn't quite figure it out. "It is? And it can only be activated every 24 hours, right?" "Yes." "So I'm basically like Sir Night Eye in the 24 hours after he used his quirk." All Might sighed. "I guess that is kind of true, but Night Eye mostly stays at the headquarters and sends more battle-oriented heroes out." "Who says I'm not going to do the same?" All Might buried his head in his hands. "I guess you're right. Maybe I'm becoming too old for this job. In my youth, heroism was far more hand-on-hand battle-oriented. Nowadays, half of crime happens on computers or behind closed doors, and since I and Night Eye split, I have the feeling I don't have the intelligence necessary for the decisions I have to make." Izuku never thought he would associate that word with his childhood hero, but All Might did kind of look old. Old and worn down. "All Might, I don't know what happened between you and Night Eye, but it's probably none of my business, but you're still doing great. You're still the symbol of peace, and you don't have to be a genius to give people the hope. You just have to stay the genuine good person that you are. He rubbed his hair nervously. Just maybe leave the teaching of people with non-physical quirks or quirkless ones like me to people who understand how to work around these restrictions, like Eraserhead or Nezu. All Might nodded. That is probably a good idea. I thank you for all your patience and the help you gave me since the beginning of the school year. Without you and young Yaoyorozu, I don't think I would have managed the first class as well as I did. Izuku blushed. Thank you. All Might straightened up and his usual wide smile appeared on his face. Well then, let's see how your classmates are doing. That day, Izuku realized that your heroes are just people too. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate all the support you've given me. Cockney Hatsume is still hilarious for me to record. I hope everyone has been having an amazing week. I'm trying to keep my head up at the moment, but that will not stop me from making content for you all. All credits goes to the original creator of this fan fiction, FantasyFreak_2 on AO3. I would highly appreciate it if you gave this video a like and you subscribe to the channel and you hit the notification bell to be notified of when I next upload. There is no pressure to do so though. Thank you for visiting my cozy corner of the internet. Keep growing my sunflowers. Mwah!